Before we begin, does anyone require a fresh cigar? No? More whiskey, perhaps? No? Oh, jolly good. Well, let's begin, shall we? Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, to the third-party engineering and acquisition of British Armour Group. I'm glad you could all make it, despite the blitz. You've been invited here because your respective industrial empires have been deemed by the War Office to not only possess the potential to produce parts, or even entire armoured fighting vehicles, but also to have the requisite engineering know-how on staff to devise original designs from the ground up. This is precisely what your country needs of you, and by God, I hope you will rise to the challenge. You see, chaps, the situation old Blighty finds herself in just now is, in a word, uncomfortable. The Battle of France is lost, and as a result, the vast majority of our armoured vehicles are now rusting in northern France or pressed into enemy service, which is less than ideal. To make matters worse, none of us have had any sleep for weeks because the blasted Hun has taken up the frightful habit of bombing our cities on a nightly basis. Most unsportsmanlike. The Battle of Britain is in full swing up there as we speak, and while our flyboys might be hogging all the glory just now, believe you me, it's only a matter of time before Hitler decides Big Ben would look smarter with a swastika draped over it. And the rub is, chaps, when Jerry finally does wash up at Dover with his panzers, we've got sweet Fanny Adams left to deter him with. Clapped out interwar tanks and lorries with concrete bunkers on the back, it's just a poor show, and no mistake. To add insult to injury, Fritz has also gotten rather good at sinking our merchant shipping with their wretched U-boats, so any assistance from the rest of the Empire, or indeed the Yanks, should they ever decide to get their fingers out, is unreliable at best. To sum it all up, we're in a bit of a spot. And that's where you come in. We need tanks, ladies and gentlemen, and we need them now. Yesterday, in fact, but tomorrow will have to do. That means we have to work with what we've got, work fast, and work on the assumption that we'll get no hardware from abroad. And what we don't have just now is engines. Not good ones, anyway. Currently, nearly all production is devoted to the needs of the RAF. So, our brave boys in the Royal Armoured Corps are forced to make do and mend. Merlins and Liberties may be off the menu, but I'll tell you what we have no shortage of. Bus engines. Petrol 6-cylinder ones, to be precise. All the bus companies have been swapping them out for diesel motors over the last 5 years or so there's no shortage of them going spare. The War Office, therefore, has drawn up an order for a new cruiser tank, which makes use of 2 of said engines working in tandem. Your job is to submit a design to meet the following specification. All of the parameters are entirely your choice, if they're not listed in the specification. Vehicles that do not meet the fixed criteria in the specification will be disqualified, however. Your deadline, ladies and gentlemen, is just 2 weeks hence. Qualifying vehicles will be judged on the basis of how much they exceed the specification criteria and by testing on our proving ground. The successful design will be put into production ASAP, and your design proposals are an essential part of the war effort. Yes, well, better make them good then, chaps, because the Boche have rather got us with our back to the wall here. Good luck, ladies and gentlemen.